one of like a dozen test cities around the globe.
I wear red, white, and blue because I am a bullseye there too. I'm just in the target. So
yeah, how many of you guys are living in a house where they control your thermostat remotely by radio?
That's the big thing they're pushing.
I'm telling you, they're doing it. Yeah, and it's not just going to be your thermostat. It's going to be your dryer, your toaster, your refrigerator, and then once they have two-way communication, everybody's looking at me like, "What are you talking about?" This is a smart grid. The idea is to, instead of having electricity flowing one way into your home, that data and information from your appliances is going to flow two ways, back out through the electrical grid to them. Yeah, that's the plan. $30 billion just got allocated to that. Without the stimulus package, they could have never done that. Never in a million years could they have gotten away with that, without a debate, without a discussion, without something, and yet they slip it into an enormous stimulus package, and everybody goes, okay. So, you know, you need to take a closer look at what they put in that stimulus package, because this is stuff that they never could have done otherwise. This is like their wish list come true. So the idea on this smart grid, you know, who's salivating over it is all of the companies that we write about in Spy Chips who want to put the RFID reader in your refrigerator so they know when you take the milk out, so they can make you a grocery list. Won't that be convenient? You were asking about the benefits. Won't it be convenient when they'll just automatically make you a grocery list based on what you take out and don't put back? Oh, you're out of water. Oops, there it is right there on your electronic list on the front of your smart fridge. So that's the kind of benefits they're going to be touting to us, and that's the carrot. Not a very good carrot. Let me tell you what the stick is. The stick is they're going to double and even triple our electrical rates. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the stick at the supermarket. They raised the prices, man. We saw Kraft. What is it? The Velveeta cheese spread in Waco. Right? This was actually written up in the Waco newspaper. Kraft cream cheese, Velveeta, when they first came out with the frequent shopper cards, $4.99, $3.99, right on the box. You know, manufacturer's suggested retail price from Kraft, $3.99. They raised the price to $5.99. So they took a $4 thing of cheese, made it $6 on the shelf, and then they gave you the awesome discount if you scanned your frequent shopper card of $2 off. That's how they do it. It's carrot and stick, but the carrot doesn't exist.
Hello.
Hey, Catherine. It's good to meet you. I listen to you every day. I actually work in the pet industry. I work at a pet store. And what, if I'm not mistaken, was the original idea about microchipping your animals so that if they became lost, you could find them? Do you have any stats about how many animals are found?
Actually, a fair number.
Really?
There have actually been a fair number returned to their owners. The concern that I have, though, is the same concern that I have in tagging babies in hospitals and all of the other things that they're doing in the name of sort of saving babies and saving animals. Once you become reliant on the technology, then you stop doing common sense things like just putting a tag on your animal with a phone number on it. Most animals, when they wander away from home, they get found by a neighbor. We found two dogs running in our backyard not long ago. And what did we do? We brought the dogs in. They were really friendly and sweet. We looked at the tag. It had a phone number. We picked up the phone and we said, "We have your dog." And within a couple of hours, they were there getting the dog. Right? Now, what happened to my good friend back there? Hello, Tequila. Kayla's experience, she had a dog. They picked up the dog. They said, well, they tried calling her. She wasn't home. But then they said, well, we'll just call the Animal Society and have the dog, you know, have them deal with the dog. And then they scan, you know, I guess she didn't have a microchip. But that's what they're doing nowadays. People aren't even putting the phone numbers on their animals anymore. And when your neighbor finds your dog, they're forced to call the local humane society, where there's a chance that animal's going to get euthanized.
Oh, no, I'm against it. There's no mistake about that. I just was curious because I work in the area of town where a lot of people think that if they do that, their animal will be safe and they'll be able to find them. So well,
there's two pieces to that, and here's I think what really reveals the fact that these guys are disingenuous about saving animals. If you don't pay to register that number in the database, then they will not store it. So you can have a microchip in your dog, and they can know who the microchip belongs to and know your name and address, but if you haven't paid the fee, they won't tell the vet. They won't tell the Humane Society, and they'll kill your dog.
Well, your local vet will have the number registered, you know. But, I mean, like, my dog, I got him from Town Lake. He got shipped at Town Lake, and so he has that passive RFID in his skin. And I haven't explored the option of removing it yet. It's not a transponder locator, it's just a number. And I haven't paid to have him registered in the pet database, but in my neighborhood, if anyone were to scan him, they'd find out from our local veterinarian that he's mine, or by calling the city because it's on record with the city, the town.
Well, you would be amazed at the number of animals who are euthanized every year who have a microchip in them, because the companies that are storing these records are not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts to save your dog. They're doing it to make money, and if you don't pay the money, they'll kill your dog.
That's right.
Okay, I think there are people who are lining up back by the mics. So if you have a
What can you say about microfilaments in vaccine needles?
Not much. You mean? I'm sorry.
Well, I had not read your book, but I had read some other research many years back. I'm thrilled I'm going to get your book then. But I had run across some studies where they had inserted some microfilaments in some infants, newborns in California in a study.
Was this for identification or tracking purposes?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with that research.
There's a government study. I mean, it's public record. And I just didn't know if you knew much more about how widespread it was. This was like 8 years ago.
This is the first I've heard. The closest I can come to thinking about that, there's a company called Raflatech that makes RFID tags that are chipless. They're like, we talk about them in our book, they're the size of a baby's eyelash, and it's just a little fiber. And it can't be scanned from a very long distance because it's small, but when you scan it, it does give off a unique signature because each one's different, and then they translate that into a number. So the only reason that's particularly relevant in this fight, and I certainly would like to see that research, is I caution people, if you're working on legislation, do not include the word microchip or restrict yourself to microchip in the legislation because there's other technologies that do the same thing without a chip, like the SOMARK tattoo, which is a remotely readable RF tattoo, or these Raflatech chipless ID tags. But please send me that research. I'd like to know about that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about SOMARK?
SOMARK, yeah, I'm not sure where they're going with it. This was some college students who actually won an award for coming up with a way to take tattoo ink, or tattoos. It's kind of like a tattoo process, and actually embed electromagnetically responsive metallic ink into a physical body. So they can put it into a cow, they can put it into a horse, they can put it into a person, and instead of just being visibly readable, it actually responds like a passive RFID. You hit it with a signal, and it sends back a signal. And it's chipless, so it wouldn't be covered by all of this RFID legislation that has been passed in these various states.
Is it visible?
I've never seen it. They're really secretive about it.
Not visible.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It depends on how deep you put it in the body.
Reads through hair, too.
Yes, it does. It will read through hair, and at that point, it'd be hard to see.
Is it true that the...
I just wanted to say some of it's visible. It depends, because I've seen demonstrations about the tattoo, RFID tattooing is what they're calling it, at the industry conferences where they're promoting NAIFs. And this is very much trying to be sold as the cheap and easy solution for RFID tagging all of our animals without physically implanting the microchips. But the tests they've done that they've been sharing at the conferences do show a visible tattoo. So it would be, a registration number for the animal that would look like a normal tattoo, because a lot of people do tattoo their animals, but it could be picked up by the readers.
Okay, hi, Katherine, and this is Sheila Dean as well. I went to the Campo meeting tonight and gave the Campo staff that does our toll roads, showed them a copy of this book that I came and purchased here earlier, and let her know that you were here and the work that Sheila's been doing. And I was wondering, passed out flyers of the Stasi party that Sheila Dean had down spoke at the Travis County Commissioners Court and announced that they were having that party. What is the most effective way, other than people such as myself that don't ever join a group, but that always pick up things like Sheila, and I see both rescues here and yourself, what's the most effective way you think, other than the way that I'm going about it, as far as spreading the word? Because there's a big digital divide in this community. There's a lot of people that aren't on the internet, but what's the best approaches that y'all think are most effective?
Well, word of mouth always works. This is great. I show up, word of mouth, telling your neighbor, picking up the phone and calling your relatives, the people that you care about that are closest to your heart. and telling them whatever concerns you, it should concern them. These are very practical things. If you attend